And away we go. Welcome in, everyone. It's Three Guys Before the Game. This is episode number 662. This is our game recap of West Virginia against the Utah Utes. All present and assembled. Long day at the ball yard. Let's get into it. Ooh. Three Guys brought to us by GoMart. Go for good times. Go for GoMart. Download that app and immediately start saving on your food and your fuel. In fact, I've got to fill up over there later today. I got my bell went off for less than 50 miles of available gas.
That's bad fuel management. You should have done it yesterday, triple points.
That is
exactly.
I was busy.
Missed it by a day.
Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Award-winning Lou Wendell. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way. Saw a Tudor's Biscuit yesterday. I'll tell you where. It was up in the broadcast booth. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years. By Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law, they won't take no for an answer. Spreads on Stats coming up. Brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. All right, here we go. Final score. Milan Puskar Stadium, 48-14, Utah. The Utes come into Morgantown and play one of the most efficient offensive games that perhaps that stadium has ever seen. Consider this. They had the football 8 times. They scored on 7.
That's a good number for them. Yeah.
7 out of 8 in scores.
Probably would have scored the 8th time if they hadn't turned the ball over, right?
Yeah, could have been a possibility there. West Virginia on the other side, they had 10 drives and scored twice, so 2 out of 10. And those touchdowns coming in the second half. All right, let's open it up. What do we got, fellas? Takeaways.
Obvious observations, Tony. Number one, fans expected, and I think like the throwback uniforms, I'm not sure they expected a performance to take the program back 60 years, like the uniforms. You were not competitive in this game. You lost. There's a lot to break down. Bottom line observation, you were not competitive basically at any point in this game. I know we'll talk about the second half, but you have to adjust for what Utah was doing during that time, so you're not competitive. Props to the fans who sat through bad weather, especially those who stayed till the end. That was a hard game to watch. Tony, I was in the comfortable confines of my home, had the TV audio turned down, listened to you. It was hard to listen to and hard to watch. That was a painful experience. I'm sure it was painful for you and the broadcast crew. Third, Coach Whittingham said after the Texas Tech loss that he was surprised they got dominated at the line of scrimmage, and, of course, they turned the ball over a bunch. Brad, did Utah improve on that this week?
They were very, very good and impressive.
Yeah. Tony, you said in the broadcast the game was over the half. I think the game was essentially over after the first 2 possessions of Utah and West Virginia. Utah went out, did what they wanted to do, long drives, 14-0. You know that West Virginia is very limited offensively. I thought the game was essentially over at that point. You would come to believe that the defense would give you a shot in games. This was one of the worst defensive performances of the season. I know Brad will have stats on missed tackles. It seemed like there were a ton.
Do you have stats on missed tackles?
I do.
Okay, he'll get to that. Cam Vaughn, I know he only had 3 catches. If you're looking for a bright spot, you have a guy who can go up and get the ball. We haven't had that in a while. He shows again he's a guy that can go get the ball and make a play. I know that's just a little ray of sunshine in an overcast day, but you just like the way that Cam Vaughn plays. Now you have a bad situation. A short week on the road, long road trip. They probably won't leave on Wednesday to get there for Friday, but a long road trip against a good opponent in a tough environment. It is an optimal situation for BYU, a terrible situation for West Virginia. Khalil Wilkins, I know we'll talk about him. He showed you something, although Utah had probably backed off by then. Here's my question to Brad before we get to his his stats. Brad, do you start him next week?
It's a great question. It's a really tough environment to throw such a young, inexperienced guy in there. He did show you a little bit. And again, some of that's opponent adjusted. I get it because the defense changes. They put some backups in. But I thought he showed you some stuff. That's a tough environment. I mean, that might have to be Henderson there again because of he's at least played some more games. You mentioned going into BYU there is no treat. So that's a tough spot to put a young guy in.
You might ruin a guy to put him in that environment.
But I do think, as you saw yesterday, you're going to see multiple guys play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody's going to start, probably Henderson, I would think, and then you mix the other guys in, just see who can give you a spark.
Tony, Jed said at the half the players were reminded in the locker room that their performance would be on film, which is sort of the typical football threat. But also, you're down to that. You're down to that by challenging these players to say who wants to be here, who wants playing time, who wants to get paid. That's where you are now. You're really down to, unless something changes dramatically, you're really down to just figuring out in that lineup of people who wants to be here, who wants to play, who shows you something, who expects to be around next year, or who's positioning themselves to be someplace else next year. That's where you are right now. Not a good situation.
Yeah, it's a new world. It's a slippery slope, with that being said, right? I think one of the issues, obviously, is when you put all of these new faces together, many of them on a short-term, one-year situation here, you've got no idea which way this thing is going to go at this point. I mean, perhaps if they still have professional aspirations, they continue to, give it their very, very best, probably somewhere in the middle. Some guys will continue to go, trying to make their name because the eye in the sky never lies. And then for others, they may shoulder shrug and say, hey, this thing ain't going to work out.
Tony, Brad and I were talking about before in our meeting before the broadcast. Is that like
you guys had a meeting?
Well, we were just chit-chatting, actually. But a guy like Cam Vaughn, I mean, boy, you'd love to have Cam Vaughn back next year.
He's coming back. He's here.
Okay.
Cam Vaughn's phone is probably ringing.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. That's what you're looking at now is your guys that are showing to be bright spots. Now you've got to work on retaining them with dollars and playing and the whole other thing. Cam Vaughn's a dude, guys. I mean, he's now done it against Pitt and against Utah, two legitimate defenses there. He just goes up and makes plays. You're just having trouble getting him the ball to him enough as you need to, but he's a dude. But yeah, Hoppy, that's your next phase. And I thought this this game played out exactly. It illustrated exactly where these two programs are in their timeline of evolution. Utah's pretty good.
Yeah.
And we mentioned coming into this, your hope that the environment and the long trip and maybe Dampier being dinged would give you a chance to hang around. None of that was even remotely close. Hoppy, to your point, if you look at win probability yesterday, by the 32nd play of this game combined, by the two teams' 32nd play, West Virginia was as high as it was going to be at 30% win probability. And it never touched that point again. I mean, this was over early, but that's a Utah team that's really good. A lot of people had picked them to win this league. You've got a West Virginia team that, as we know, is rebuilding. And so I thought that played out on the field. West Virginia was just non-competitive yesterday with Utah. And defensively, I think, was more disappointing. The challenges presented by the offense. That defense was just bad, guys. It just was bad. That surprised me. I thought this was a pretty good defense that would be able to hang in there for a while against Utah, and they just didn't at all. We'll get to some of the numbers, but you don't really need the numbers on this one. That was just a really rough performance. And I think now if you're West Virginia fan, you're trying to watch this, there's two parts to this. There's a lot of season left, and that gets frustrating when you're getting drilled like that. So you're still trying to win games if you're those guys, and you're still trying to watch as a fan, hoping there's wins. And then you're also just trying to find those spots or those guys that you can say, all right, they showed a little something. And I think there were a few of those. Mm-hmm. There were some minor bright spots to push forward, but overall, that was just a tough watch, guys. Yeah. That was a tough watch.
Yeah, particularly disheartening was, as you said, defensively. I mean, Utah, from its opening drive, that was dissection.
Yeah.
That was absolute dissection. Wide open receivers, and then we'll get into the missed tackles. They just were completely off.
No pass rush. I mean, we know that line is very good, but West Virginia's pass rush has been good, and it just was non-existent. And West Virginia did what it wanted to do. It forced Dampier into throwing the football. Man, he just lit you up.
He had a really good game, and Steve Dunlap always talks about this, former defensive coordinator, is that when a quarterback hits an open receiver And Dunlap, who coached defensive back, said, okay, but he was back. He had a ton of time.
Mm-hmm.
And Dampierre, many times, Tony, had a ton of time. So, yeah, guys were open. You can't guard guys for 6-7 seconds.
We say this, and you talk about it, and defensive coordinators preach it, basketball coaches preach it. You've got to make the offense uncomfortable. And Utah's offense collectively, Dampierre in particular, just never uncomfortable, just did whatever they wanted yesterday.
You were concerned because their offensive line had not played well against Texas Tech. This is, I said back on Thursday's show, that they were hearing it and hearing it and hearing it. So what were they going to do?
Yeah,
they're going to come out and go and show you. But you're right. I mean, their line and the pass pro that he had, it was like at times, it was like 7-on-7.
Yes.
He stood there, set his feet, and let her roll. Perfect. So his number's crazy. 25 of 30 for 290, 5 touchdown passes. I should say 4 touchdown passes. Yeah. He was 21 collectively with 25-30. He was 21 of 26, 237, 4 touchdowns, a pick, 81% completion rating, quarterback rating of 200.
Yeah, he had a day.
Case closed. I mean, again, I'll give you some numbers here in just a second. You don't need them. You don't need the numbers from this game. It was just, it was rough all the way around.
Three Guys Before the Game is brought to us by the good folks at Gomart. Yes, West Virginia is off from the home date this weekend. They're on the road at BYU, but that doesn't mean that Saturday doesn't mean triple rewards points for you. So if you stop at a Gomart, have the app, you get triple rewards points on Saturdays, whether that's for your food or your fuel. Check it out. It's Gomart. Download the app at your app store of convenience, whether that's Android or at Google Play. Three Guys also brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. If you're into that boating mood and things people getting ready to wrap them up, you need service on your boat, they can absolutely do that. Lou Wendell Marine Sales, voted best in the Valley. That's the Kanawha Valley. They've been receiving that award for years and years. Anything that comes to the boating world, whether it be pontoons, whether it be other types of boats or any accessories or service, visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. All right. Going into the BYU game on Friday night, you talked about one thing you didn't say about the travel West Virginia. I'm just hoping and praying that, don't know, but the Mountaineer football team is filled with insomniacs because body clock-wise, that bad boy is a 10:30 kickoff, which is 8:30 there in Provo. So it'll be a 10:30 kickoff. So it's just going to be
Eastern,
10:30 Eastern, 8:30 in the mountains. And first time ever. I was there during basketball season. Well, you were there during basketball. Remember we snuck in?
I went to that game as well.
Yeah, we snuck in there and we looked in there. Remember they were doing that construction over there and we looked up and we went like.
Beautiful setting. Beautiful
gorgeous.
Setting.
Yeah.
Tough environment.
Yeah, you can tell it was empty during basketball season. We looked up there and went, yep, this won't be good. This is not going to be easy to come in here.
They're tough to beat when you roll in with good, experienced teams. So this is a real challenge. We said that, guys. There's no easy games on this schedule except for Robert Morris. All due respect, this was a particularly tough stretch on the road at Kansas after a big pit win. Then Utah rolling in. Utah ended up coming in after a loss to a particularly focused team. Then you have to go on the road to BYU in a short week. It doesn't get a whole lot easier from here. In fact, I was looking at a number today on strength of schedule remaining, as difficult as this stretch is and as it's been. Pro Football Focus has West Virginia as the 19th most difficult schedule remaining. So
great.
Not a lot of light at the end of the tunnel there in terms of schedule strength.
Well, that works out well. How about Cincinnati?
Yeah.
They went into Kansas, had 4 touchdowns called back.
Won the game.
And won the game.
That's crazy. And Kansas had 4 touchdown passes by.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Jalen Daniels. Yeah, he was hot
Daniels,
again.
Yeah, he was hot. 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah, he was hot again. Yeah. All right.
I stayed up. Well, not relevant to us, but I stayed up and watched the end of that Oregon-Penn State game. That was something.
Good ball. Entertaining and exciting.
What are you saying?
As far as it is.
Oh, yeah.
Look, you watch it. It's a different level.
Yes, it is.
Different level. You watch it. Different dudes.
Players.
Different dudes. Right now, different dudes. Big 12-wise, I think the team we saw yesterday here, Utah, Texas Tech, and Iowa State. It's going to be Texas Tech, and then it'll be either Utah or Iowa State. Mm-hmm. Those will be your 2 teams in the championship.
Don't rule out Arizona State. They're starting to play a little bit now. TCU, I thought that was an important game for TCU. They end up getting beat. They had the lead in that game, got beat from behind because their schedule seems to be favorable down the stretch there, but loss hurt them.
Yeah. All right, let's do a little bit of this. What does the computer and what do the rankings say? Time to go. That's right. It's time to go. It's time to go. Yeah. Good. Computer's not working.
No, that's about right. That's about right.
Yeah, computer's not working.
Sometimes you have off days.
Yeah.
Not working at all?
Nah, I mean, the computer's working, just the music isn't working.
Do you have it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Kind of.
That's all right.
Spreads on stats.
Don't need the musical intro because
Brought to you
again,
by-
you really don't need the stats, quite frankly.
Well, I want to hear them, though, because, well, just because I'm naturally curious. But
Spreads on Stats is brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They provide full-service public accounting. So much more than an accounting firm. They do all of that. That's what they do each and every day, but they are business consultants for you as well. They can help you make the decisions that you need to know to keep your business running at its highest level of efficiency. Also, they can come in and remote in and provide you with off-site accounting. They can take care of remote accounting for you. So if you don't want to deal with that, visit the Conley CPA Group, West Virginia company, and just a bunch of great dudes and gals over there. The official accounting company of the Three Guys Before the Game podcast. All right.
Let's look back at a couple things we talked about in the preview and how did they shake out when the game was actually played. We mentioned Utah had been really efficient, 10th nationally in offensive success rate, coming in against a West Virginia defense that had been really good, Hoppy, 11th against opponent success rate. So how would that matchup play out? You saw how it did. Utah was successful on 50% of its plays. Put it in the 86th percentile.
How many?
Wow. They got a successful play 50% of the time. So that's like 4 yards on first down, 70% of your yards on by second down, and then a first down on third or fourth. So they did what they wanted to do against a defense, again, in West Virginia that had been good in that category. We said Utah wants to run it behind their big offensive line. This was surprising to me, guys. Their raw stats were really good. Ran it for nearly 250 yards, almost 5 yards per carry. But they ended with a negative EPA rush for the game on rush attempts. So the EPA, expected points added, it's the change in the team's probability of scoring on each particular play. So it wasn't the running game plays that necessarily set up their scoring. It was what? What did we talk about?
Yeah, they passed
it was the passing. So Utah, as we just mentioned, did whatever it wanted throwing the football. Its EPA per pass in the 98th percentile coming out of that game. Nearly 10 yards per drop back, which was unbelievable. Dampier, 17 of 19 for 195 and 3 touchdowns on passes from 0 to 20 yards. So ate you up in that middle section of yards. West Virginia created a havoc play from defensive backs on just 1.7% of the plays. So that's a pick or a batted ball. Just could not get anything going defensively against that pass game. That coverage grade from PFF for WVU in this game was the 4th worst in the last 11 seasons.
Excuse me?
4th worst in the last 11 seasons on coverage grade. So again, I mean, you saw it. You watched that happen. We talked a lot about third down and said coming in, Utah was 3rd in the country in average third down distance to go, just 4.5 yards. West Virginia had been pretty good, keeping teams to almost 3rd and 8 on average. So we thought that might be a key factor in that game. If West Virginia had any chance to stay close, had to put Utah in 3rd and longs. Utah's average third down distance to go yesterday, 5.1 yards. So almost right on average. That led Utah to converting 62% of its third downs. You heard Rich mention that pretty early in his press conference. Just said we could not get off the field when we needed to. That was one of the reasons. Some more numbers defensively for West Virginia. You guys have asked twice now about the tackling information.
Yeah.
It's the worst tackling grade for a West Virginia team since that Missouri team in September 7th of 2019 opening game of that season. So the worst tackling grade in the last 5 seasons.
Over there in Columbia? Or was
Is that
that
what
here?
that one was? No.
Was that here?
That was there, I think, right?
Yeah, there, right?
That was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was the tackling grade?
It was in the 39 grade. So worst in 5 years.
Well, so let's talk about that for a hair here. Why do you think that happened?
I don't know. Do you have a theory? You look like you have a theory.
I just think Utah prides itself on being big and physical, and when it comes to the point of contact, They're basically saying, I'm not going down here, first hit.
Yeah, they are. But at some point, too, there were just misses. Like they were sticking their foot in the ground and moving, and West Virginia guys were just missing or running by the play. I didn't know that they were very sound either.
Also just yards after contact. How many times did Dwight say on the broadcast, got to wrap them up, guys? I mean, just yards after contact were huge. West Virginians didn't wrap up, didn't tackle well. That was the most I think that was the most surprising part of their game. It wasn't surprising that the offense couldn't do much. We know that. That was really surprising, Tony, that the defense just got manhandled like that for the entire game.
I don't disagree one bit. It was the biggest surprise for me of the whole game. Mm-hmm. Offensively, you knew of the struggles that you've been having, so that was not anything new. Yeah. Defensively, This group had given you a feel that they could lock up and defend. And I don't know why that happened.
Yeah, well, I'll give you some numbers. I thought if you look at what the stats are, and again, these will change and mature a little bit. Yards after contact was 3 yards per attempt after contact. 136 of the 240 yards after contact. So significant number. But here's the number: 19 missed tackles forced. Whew. 19. So you just weren't making the tackles there. I'm with you, Tony. That offense you expected to struggle a little bit. Add the injuries on top of you're still trying to figure out what you are offensively. But that defensive performance that was a wow to me. 30 first downs for Utah. That's all. You get 30 first downs, you're going to dominate the game.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the number of all those numbers. Here's the one that jumped out the most. And I think it speaks to the domination that Utah had offensively against West Virginia's defense. Utah gained 86% of the available yards it had during the game. So based on where every drive started and the field that was left, mm-hmm. they chewed up 86% of those available yards.
Man.
Okay? I tried to do some quick numbers today. I haven't got all the way back, but to give you some point of reference, so 86% of the available yards. This season, Ohio U gained 51% of available yards. Pitt, 49%, 44%. KU, just 51% of available yards. I'll give you some more. Last season, Penn State handled West Virginia pretty easily. Gained 56% of the available yards. Kansas State last year, a team that dominated West Virginia, gained just 60% of available yards. You got to go back to Texas Tech last year, and you still didn't get to this number. Texas Tech in that last game last year, where it was just horrific, gained 79% of the available yards. So I went back and spot checked some games over the last 7 or 8 years. I could not find one where it was 86% of available yards. So it was just, as we've said, guys, I know you don't need that number to back that up. That was a wow performance from that Utah offense and conversely West Virginia's defense.
Which begs the question, now what? So these guys have been scarred, right? When these guys go back in here and they watch that tape today and they put this game down, this is a scar. The question becomes, at what level now do they go? Do they accept the scar, shrug the shoulders and go, we're not good? Or do they say that is a one-off and we will redeem ourselves? That's the question.
Yeah, and that's got to be the hope, right? And again, if you want to try and have some hope in this, it's that Utah's offensive line is as good as advertised, and that you get some matchups that are a little more favorable moving forward. But yeah, if they decide not to play, it's going to be a long season. If they decide to hulk up here and go, but man, that was a rough one. If we do want to look at some things, pull some bright lights out there, Kirchhoff, if you want to, and try and look down the road. I thought a couple performances are worth mentioning here. West Virginia did have 11 big plays in that game, so classified as passes of 15 yards or more, runs of 10 or more. Khalil Wilkins, was involved in 4 of those, 2 passes, 2 runs. I thought he showed you a little bit, guys. Yeah. Now, again, you're getting some different guys in there defensively. I understand that. But when Wilkins was in, I thought overall had a pretty good performance. Left a couple passes short that you would have liked to have back, but okay, that comes with experience. Thought he showed you a little bit in that game. Dior Hubbard filled in nicely. 61 yards rushing for him in a first career start. He had that 29-yard run, so gave you a little life in the run game. Gerard Bowie, it was nice to see him rip off that 68-yard run, the longest of the game. And then I thought maybe more encouraging was the play of Malik Agbo in particular. He played a lot, the transfer from Texas, and that's a guy we've talked about. And the question always was, he hadn't been playing much yet. Is that because he just wasn't ready to get in there, and and Jack Bicknell and Rich weren't ready to put him in that position, or is it because he wasn't going to be good enough to make it? Thought he showed yesterday a little bright spot there that hopefully that's the former of that he just wasn't quite ready. He had the lead block out in front when Bowie took off for that big run. Guy had no chance, the Utah defender, to get around him. 5th best offensive grade yesterday for Agbo with a lot of snaps out of that tackle position. So I thought, again, that's one of the keys to me moving forward with this program is we've seen Rich do this before. We've seen it look really bad in year one, and we've seen the real lows in the year one, and then steadily that thing started to turn around, and you got to the point where you're playing for a natty within 5 or 6 years of that. But moving forward next year, this offensive line has to find itself a little bit, guys. It can't be a situation where Rich has to go out and buy 12 new offensive linemen last year. You've got to find some guys that you can start with a nucleus for next year. Can Agbo be one of those guys? Will Livingston be a guy? Will Cray be a guy? There's got to be some of these younger guys that are playing now that maybe aren't getting to the level you want them to, but that you look up next year and we sit here and go, okay, you got 3 returning starters or 4 returning guys that played a lot. Then when you have to go out and buy guys, it's not a wholesale entire room. It's pieces you can plug in. So it's a lot of words to just say I thought Agbo performed well yesterday when he was in as one of those linemen.
Yeah, your point is well taken. You would love to have some foundational pieces of your offensive line. By the time the season's over, you can say, okay, we can win down the road with these guys, so you don't have to go by 12. Mm-hmm. But just to show you how crazy this business is, Oregon, who had the massive win against Penn State, they brought in 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen in the offseason. 4. They only had 1 returning starter on their offensive line, and that group hummed. But I'm just thinking out loud. They probably have $2 to $3 million in their offensive line. Those guys are probably making $500 to $600.
Well, I also think, again, if you're looking for keys to set you up next year, the 80 guys you brought in, that's spreading your money thin, because you had to get volume as well. So if you're in Oregon, you didn't bring in 80 guys. So you could niche down your dollars a little more. Plus, yeah, you spent more because you were in that era of free spending. Next season, what's that number that Rich needs to bring in? If it's the closer it gets to 80, the more challenges you're probably going to have because you're spreading your money too thin. Can you get that to a point where it's 46 new guys next year, 40 guys next year, where you have some nucleus not just on the line?
Are you talking about 40 guys that make additional money beyond rev share dollars?
No, I was just talking in terms of roster turnover. If you've got to go get that many players and you're taking your rev share money, it's just common math, and you break that down over 80 players versus 40 new ones, that's going to be a problem. I know you've got to retain. You're going to pay some money to retain guys, but if you got to go get 80 guys again, that's what makes it tough.
And who gets retained? This quarterback room is fascinating. And the quarterback gets the credit and the blame, but there's so many other things that go into it. You can't just look at the quarterback, right? I mean, we talked a lot about the offensive line, but you got now 5 guys who've played. Who gets retained? You're not going to have those same 5 guys aren't going to be there next year. So who emerges over this season as the guy that you want to ensure is back, or are you still looking?
No, I'll let you know. I'll let you know 7 games from now, right? Okay. I mean, that's what this is. Mm-hmm. This is dress rehearsal. Right? This is audition on the job right now. Now, obviously, some of these guys, Henderson, right? The clock is wound, but those other guys, yeah. I mean, this is the world that you're in. This remaining games of this season are going to be determining who they try to retain. That's what they're going to try to figure out. They'll know that number, then they'll know what they have to go get.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of desperate for bright spots, and with Wilkins yesterday, you're watching some of it, and they on TV they showed Pat White on the sideline, and you don't want to get too carried away with that, but you're hoping for at some point, Brad, a guy, because you know what Rich is looking for, right? You're looking for a guy who's exceptional in the run, who's a constant threat, who can break things, and also be adequate in the pass game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of people forget that Patrick also had one of the highest completion percentages in school history. They put him in great positions to throw the ball, right? And a lot of people,
had guys that could catch the ball too.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. This made me go back and look at Rich's first season here in 2001 when they went 3-8. Mm-hmm. And if you want to do any kind of similarities, so West Virginia was 2-1 after Rich's first 3 games here. End of the season at 3-8. Yesterday's game, if you're trying to find like commonality, that might have been the Virginia Tech game of Rich's first year on the 6th of October. Virginia Tech came in, took the women and the children, and walked out of the building with a 35-0 win.
Ooh.
And that was, but you know what that team did though? What that team did though, after that game, the following week they go at Notre Dame and lose 34-24. But they go to Miami. Miami was number 1 in the country. Remember that game? Was that Derek Carter was the quarterback for West Virginia? Yeah, you remember that game?
Ooh.
Had to start him, and they got beat 45-3. I think that was that game.
45-3. I'm looking at it now. 45-3.
Derek Jones, my bad.
Derek
Jones.
Yeah.
Derek Jones was the quarterback.
Yeah.
And then they get beat 45-3. Then they come home, beat Rutgers. Here's the problem. We don't have Rutgers on the schedule.
All due respect.
Beat them 80-7.
Mm-hmm.
That was your third and last win. And then they played competitively in the final 3 games of that year. At Syracuse, they get beat 24-13. Got beat at home by Temple 17-14. Got beat by Pitt 23-17. But you saw what you was doing toward the end of that year. You were tightening the margin. What's this gang going to do?
Yeah. And you're right because of Syracuse, but Rutgers now, I think they got beat yesterday too, but I mean, that was the bad Rutgers era. Okay. Fair.
Are they in the good Rutgers era now?
I think they're better.
They are. They are.
And you know, Temple is Temple. That was a bad Pitt era, right? So I just don't see, Tony, looking at the schedule, I know what you're saying. The schedule does not look promising to me. Where you look at these games, go, you know what? You'll get these guys. I mean, who is out there where you say, boy, you got a great chance to get healthy against this team?
No, man, those days are over. When you have, let's face it, years gone by, you would look at the schedule before the season started, and you could put 4 wins on there before you even put the ball into the air. Go, that's 4. And then you go, okay, well, how many more can you go get? Except for Ohio U and Robert Morris, which did not happen 2-0. It went 1-1. Except for those 2 this year, there weren't any where you was a guaranteed W.
The way this season's going, the way it's going, at the end of the season, for loyal Mountaineer fans, the caveat will be at least they beat Pitt. That's what you're going to be able to hang your head on. At least they beat Pitt
at this moment.
At this moment,
that's the only one that's in the bank.
Yeah, and that was a meaningful win. Yeah. So at least they beat Pitt, and then go from there.
I think your point's well taken there, though, of how that first year under Rich team started to close the gap a little bit. That's what you're watching here. Can this team improve, or is it going to lay down? I mean, that's the basic question that's in there: is who wants to stand up and try and play here? And if you is the defense again? Is that a one-off, or is that a real problem moving forward? So. That's what you're looking for here. But you're right, guys. At BYU, UCF's totally rebuilt too, right? Scott Frost has come in there, but that's on the road. That makes that tough. TCU coming in, get him at home. But, man, after what Dampier just did through the air, you got Josh Hoover coming in. He can really throw it. Yeah, that's a Houston team. I said this before. When they hired Willie Fritz, that's a shame. That's a shame for everybody else. He's a really good coach, and in year 2 is when he starts to roll. If you've watched that Houston team, they're much improved. They were behind at Oregon State, came back and won that game. You've got to go to Houston. That was one that was probably going to have a closer line than most of these others. That's a tough game too at Houston. Colorado at home, they're scuffling along a little bit. Maybe by then can they be in some trouble? Then you got to go out to Arizona State, who's got some real playmakers, and then of course you get Texas Tech at home to finish.
There's opportunities. This thing, I don't know what it's going to be. There are opportunities, as he just mentioned. There are opportunities. Not every game is going to be against the likes of Utah remaining. You've got opportunities. You're either going to get better or you're going to get worse. I don't think you're going to stay the absolute same right now.
Well, I was going to say, okay, that's a positive spin, and I understand opportunities, but this team has to play differently to take advantage of opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you play the way you played Saturday,
you're not going to win again.
Yes.
You're not going to win again if you continue to play like that. No question. Yeah, but you're allowed to get better. I heard a guy say that once.
Thank you. That is what I want to see. Like, take the offense for a second. Like, does Wilkins emerge? Does he emerge as a playmaking guy? How about Hubbard? We mentioned he played well yesterday. Does that become a viable threat? If it does, that's pretty remarkable, guys, what your running back room has done if he's able to show and have a decent year. When's Ty Edwards back?
I would think next week, right?
Yeah, can Ty Edwards get back? And now you found Dior Hubbard maybe a little bit too, and you're like, okay. And then to me, it's just that line, guys. It's that line, and what's Agbo able to do to mix in there? You saw Carson Lee get a lot of run yesterday because of the Livingston injury. Haslam got a lot of run yesterday. So you saw some other guys in there that didn't do badly. Is that group just going to get better? You would hope. You would hope that continues to get better, get this offense so that it can do something and remove some pressure from the defense.
Taking care of your employees or the folks that work with you is always a good thing, especially when they're well hydrated. Comax Business Systems is in the water business, in addition to all the great office equipment that they provide to clients throughout the state of West Virginia. Right now, they've got this unbelievable water system out there. Provides hot and cold water, the I-12 water cooler. This is the one where sleek design meets cutting-edge technology. Don't buy those plastic water bottles, jugs, lugging that stuff around. That is so old school. Get yourself a water machine for the folks. Contact Comax to learn more about their water systems at comaxwv.com. Coming up, Textual Healing. We don't have the music available, but I'll sing the song. Three Guys also brought to us by Jan Dills, attorneys at law. They will not take no for an answer. You know, Rich also doesn't take no when he puts that tape on and watches some of that performance. He won't take that for an answer either. Jan Dills began serving clients here decades ago in the state of West Virginia, started in Parkersburg, now serving clients in all 50 of our states, specializing in helping you get help when it comes to veterans benefits and Social Security claims. If you or someone that you know is navigating that difficult road of making veterans or Social Security claims, contact them right from the start because they can walk you through and guide you through the process. It does not cost you a single penny, not one shekel, until they make you money. If you need help or someone that does veterans benefits, Social Security claims, personal injury, go to Jan Dills, attorneys at law. All righty. As I said, computer's not working. So, Hop, you want to jump in on Textual Healing? I mean, sing the song? Never mind.
No, folks don't want to hear that.
All right, fine. Let's go. Textual Healing, brought to us by episode800.com. That's episode800.com. This is where we let you have a take at it. Episode800.com is also a website where we sell all of our stuff. And we got a lot of stuff going. You know what? We're busy. Did you notice? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
We're kind of busy.
Yeah.
We got events coming up. We're all over the place. I'll show you here in just a second. But one of the things that we're doing is coming up on the 7th of October. We're having a fundraiser with the United Way, both Clear Mountain Bank and Hope Gas, putting together a night with the Mountaineers and Mountaineer coaches and Mountaineer student athletes. Ross Hodge, Mark Kellogg, Jen Greeny, Steve Sabins.
Wait, Greeny's a character, isn't she?
She's the best.
She got into it the other night.
Well, sure she did. She coaches. She competes.
Yeah, we had fun at our
She
Buffalo
had fun
Wild
with
Wings.
the Buffalo Wild Wings.
She
thing,
was all in.
Absolutely. So we encourage you. You can go to any social media site, United Way of Mon and Preston counties. Just go to any social. We've got less than 16
There's
tickets.
16 tickets left.
16 tickets right now. That's October the 7th at Touchdown Terrace at the stadium. Well, there it is. You can take a look at all the folks that are going to be there. We'll also have live and silent auctions. WVU Sports Experiences and Memories will be hosting it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Moving mountains with the Mountaineers, Clear Mountain Bank, Hope Gas, and all the money goes to the United Way of Monongalia and Preston counties. Also, don't know if you guys know this, but we like to contribute and we like to donate as well.
We do. Mm-hmm.
So this was the Buckwheat Festival weekend in Preston County, one of the all-time great festivals and events in the state of West Virginia. And we, last night, we're recording Sunday, we took part in the youth livestock sale of the Preston County auction. Braden, if you could start to show some of those pictures.
Did you know this?
I did not.
You did not know this
Let's
happened?
start off with this
Did not
picture.
know it
This is
happened.
Austin Tennant. Austin Tennant was the young man who raised this pig. We came in at tag number 424. 424. and we went to the youth livestock sale, and we purchased a pig, a hog, a pig, hog that was raised. And Austin did a great job in raising him. And then there was a live auction. Can we run the auction video, please? Can we run the auction video? Get that up there. Can we get that on the...
Number 139, Austin Tennant has a 240.
There's our pig, guys. See it?
Yeah.
There's Austin with the pig up front. Watch the guy, second to last back row, blue shirt. He was our designee. He was holding a 3 guards before the game placard. It's at 1,000. We just bid.
Our hands up.
We bid 1,000. You can tell the rest of the people in the crowd wanted nothing to do with it. Once they knew that we were involved, they were scared that there would be retribution if they bid. So we're sitting there at 1,000.
Nobody wants any more of that action.
And there it is.
$1,000, 148.
Listen.
148 is going to be 3 guys before the game, Dave Thomas.
That's right, baby.
Sold to 3 guys before the
We
game.
bought a hog.
Wonderful.
We bought a hog.
You know, the bad news is that the bid before that was $200, but we just went right to 1,000.
We just did 1,000. We want the doggone hog.
So
And
Austin Tennant was who
Yes.
raised the hog?
So thanks to him for raising it, and we're going to donate that back to the United Way of Monongalia and Preston County. So it was,
the pig, right? Because he gets 1,000, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Austin gets 1,000.
and we're going to donate the meat to folks that could need it, use it. Right.
Yeah, good job.
So we're in the pig business. Got coffee, pigs, popcorn, beer.
How did the auctioneer was? You're an auctioneer, so you did pretty good.
That was a real auctioneer. I liked his little. I liked his thing. What are you bidding on to get you now? What are you bidding to get you now? 25. What are you bidding to get you now? I love that stuff. Might be doing it soon. I mean, permanently. All right, here we go. Texter. I love these uniforms. They need to be worn more than once a year. Well, that opens up a whole can of worms. Back in 1996, West Virginia wore blue pants at Maryland in a rainstorm, and it was at that time that was a massive change of uniform. Mm-hmm. And those bad boys were never seen again. I mean,
Boy, they did look good yesterday.
They did.
They are good, and there was a lot of merch in the stands walking around there.
Yeah, that worked.
Light blue towels before the thing waving. It was that was a really. I know the game didn't come out like you wanted to. That's about as A+ as you can get in execution of throwback uniforms, coupled with merchandise around it, coupled with the ancillary stuff around the game. That was a tremendous job of everything outside the field of play yesterday.
I like the uniforms a lot. There's one caveat, I'll get to that, but the fact that our colors are gold and blue, but really that gold is a yellow. If you look at the what's it called, the number, the
PMS.
The PMS number is really more of a yellow. Right?
Is the gold we wear called athletic gold?
I don't remember the official name of it.
So our true color is old gold, which was represented on those uniforms yesterday.
So I really like the looks, and it's just fun to have retro uniforms and throwback. That's very popular today. I'm obsessed by this light blue, as you know, and you call it Star City Blue because that was the color of the bridge, which is no longer there. But it's either...
Well, he didn't call it that. I mean, that's what it's in the branding guide of the university.
They call it
I mean,
officially.
he didn't name that. He said it on the show.
They call it?
Yeah,
it's in the branding guide called Star City Blue.
Yeah, Tony didn't just throw that out.
I don't know why you would attack me.
I don't know why you would assume that he would just throw something out like that. I understand where you're coming from.
So I'm going for the actual name, and I'm looking. It could be Crayola's Sky Blue of the crayon. It could be Pale Cyan. It could be Diamond. I'm just looking at what the blue is actually called, because in color patterns, they don't call it Star City Bridge. I mean, it has another name. So I was looking for what it's called. Why are you eyeballing me? I'm just looking for what it actually is.
No, I was going to say, when you find out, call me. I want to know what number it is.
PMS color 2915C. I know you have a former artist in your house, which is probably why you're digging so much. Pantone 2915C.
2915C
would be the color.
Okay, let me check on
That's the Pantone blue of the throwback, referred to in the university brand guide as Star City Blue. So I don't know what other names you were naming there, but 2915.
2915. It's
C.
a PMS color.
Thank you.
Okay. You guys go ahead. I'll try to find out.
Really? Can we go ahead? You do know we are recording.
Oh, when do we start?
Guys, is there a midseason transfer portal? We need help everywhere. Utah have grown men playing, and we look like a high school team. I'm not sure Rich can dig us out of this hole. Recruiting, help. Hey, three guys, Dr. Ed here. These are not Division I level athletes and would likely not make it at D2 against the Montanas and North Dakota States. I'm going to be in Provo Friday. Will that game be decided in the first half too? This feels like my 4 years as an undergrad. Worst 4 consecutive seasons in West Virginia history, 76, 77, 78, 79, except instead of Joe Pa roaming the sidelines with the Nittany Lions and eviscerated Signetti's teams, we have this comedy of errors. Well, Dr. Ed, you might be the problem. You ever given any of that? I mean, I'm just trying to love you, Dr. Ed. Texter, if this year goes the way it appears, 2-part question. Over under 50 new players next season. You want to hit that?
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. That I think that is the key to next season is how many of these guys can you retain and feel like you can move forward with.
If there is over 50, do we expect a year 0 next year as well, or do we hope West Virginia can hang on to some key players? Yeah, we've talked about that. That's the key. Texter, did we switch to an FCS program in the offseason? Disappointment, frustration, embarrassment, call it what you want. This is not watchable. Question now is how many of these new players can a program bring in and expect success? Since it's obvious there's little talent on either side, I'm already looking forward to basketball season, and I hope it turns out better than this blank show. P.S. I'm suppressing a Guinness Book of World Record expletives right now and would have to assign myself to an hour in the sad chair. If I do so, it might be worth it.
Pantone does not always assign a specific name to all its colors, but PMS 2915C is generally referred to as bright sky blue or Pantone 2915C.
Curtin Crystal Lake, in-game text, 2-parter. Brad said several times after Rich's hiring that the portal means it doesn't necessarily take several years to build a competitive roster. What went wrong for West Virginia this year? Bad talent evaluation, lack of funds to attract Power 4 talent. Secondly, who lost WVU football? 14 years ago, we were an attractive and competitive enough program for the Big 12 to say yes. Since then, we've gradually descended into mediocrity, while formerly mediocre programs like Iowa State and Kansas, who possess no natural advantages, have risen to prominence. Thanks. I love what you guys do.
Yeah, look, it is wildly, we have elaborated here extensively how disappointing it was to be not competitive in that game and the long season ahead, but you have to have some patience. You have to have some patience. You cannot judge Rich Rod by this first season. I mean, it is year 0. You have to have patience in this, don't you, Tony?
100%.
I
I've said this is a restart. And, you know, when you're building a house and they put the foundation in, you know what? Construction site doesn't look real good. Eventually, you know what happens? They frame it. They finish it. You got a nice house. We're digging a hole. We're putting the foundation in. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a lot of dirt. A lot of, porta potty's going to be over there. We're going to have some supplies over there. Going to have a little bit of a trailer over there. It's a mess until you get the thing established and you start building it.
And how fast you do that, again, I think comes back to if you're building that foundation, what's the foundation look like? Did you get enough concrete in there to fill the foundation up? And if you didn't, then it's going to take longer. If you did and got some foundational pieces and you can go out and sprinkle and add and look for some specific skill or a tackle or two, not the 12 offensive linemen, then you're off and running a little more quickly.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't think this is 3 and 4 years. I truly don't. The way that Rich despises losing won't permit him or allow him to let this go for a long period of time. He knows what he needs. He's done this long enough. He knows what he has to go get. Now he has a full understanding of what he needs to go get, and he'll go get it. You got complete support from the university, and that will become even more clear in the weeks and days to come athletically, and they'll go to market, and they'll get it all figured out.
The other side of the portal is talk about we focus on going out and getting guys. You lost guys. Could you use Trey Lathan? Do you think Trey Lathan could help you this season?
Yeah, could use Jeremiah Trotter. Could use
Jeremiah
Kyle
Trotter,
Altuner.
yeah.
Could use Tomas Remack. Could you use you could
Johnny
use
Williams. Yeah, there's
Johnny Williams. Yeah, you could use a boatload of those guys. Sure. Texter, not so fun game to play. What Utah game was harder to watch? 2017 in the Heart of Dallas Bowl or last night's game?
I think last night's game, because a bowl game sometimes is just out there.
Yeah.
It's an ethereal out there somewhere, and this to me it was more meaningful.
Yeah, because it meaned more.
Yeah,
it meaned more.
League game. It did mean more.
Hey, three guys. Corey from Salt Lake.
Oh.
It hurts to watch as a lifelong fan. I don't have as much hair on my fire anymore, but I'm still trying to hold the rope. Excited to see more of Khalil Wilkins. Hopeful he can get the ball to Cam Vaughn more. West Virginia family is coming to visit me this week, and we'll see you all at the BYU game. P.S. BYU gives ice cream to opposing fans at the end of the first quarter.
Oh.
So we got that going for us.
That's a nice gesture.
You believe that, Brad? Well, come on. Then we were
It's
there
awful
for
nice.
basketball. They gave you that big cougar tail.
They did.
Big old donut. Remember that thing was about that big? They brought those out to us. Boy, I tell you what, they're awfully over there. BYU, they're awfully busy pushing glucose, aren't they? Pushing sugar one way or the other, either frozen or solid. They're going to get you on a sugar high. Hey, good morning, three guys. As I reflect on this year's team and the second coming of Rich, in the famous words of Herman Boone, or at least Denzel Washington, it's like Novocaine. We want it to work fast, but sometimes it doesn't. Give it time. It always works. Patience and expectation management are the name of the game. My opinion. Appreciate all you do. Wild Bill. Rick and Marietta. It's still a great day to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be. Before the season started, I told my 81-year-old cousin that our beloved Mountaineers would finish the season 3-9 or 4-8. By the way, he loved the uniforms yesterday, reminded him of his days when he would watch games at Old Mountaineer Field. They'd show up early to watch the soccer team play and slowly sip their favorite adult beverage in a bottle to prepare for the game. The first year in changing a culture is always the hardest. Oh, look at this. But it builds the foundation for a successful future. Even with today's portal and NIL, we will see a significant improvement by the end of the year, which will build a hard-edged future for the Mountaineers. Time for the Tylenol and Liquid 4 as the Kercheval was flowing freely before, during, and after the game. Rick and Marietta.
By the way, I'm double-checking this for Mountaineer fans who make that trip, and I know not all Mountaineer fans imbibe, but many like to. Alcohol is not allowed anywhere, no how. Stadium, parking lot, premises.
That is correct. In fact, I was informed yesterday by one of the visitors from Salt Lake. He informed me with the late start of the contest. He said, you have to bring your own caffeine. They do not have caffeine.
Really?
As well.
So you came. Well, just go with the ice cream. So you can't get you've been known to have a cup of coffee at some point, like before the game.
Yeah, I might bring in a tanker.
We got a thermos.
Well, just send somebody on. They got that Starbucks right there on the edge of campus. We went to it a couple times. You just hit that right on the way in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You think they'll allow you to carry that in?
Oh yeah, I don't think they'll stop you from that. I just think they don't want to sell it.
Okay.
Texter, always a connection. I live in North Carolina. I have season tickets, so I always send my boy to school with West Virginia gear on. Well, guess what? Another kid shows up the same day in WVU gear. They will be best friends for life. Do we have that picture of the two little Sparkies wearing WVU gear in the classroom?
They wore it to school?
Yeah, they just happened to go to a North Carolina school.
There they are.
They both showed up. How
guys.
I like those little guys.
They're awesome.
That's cute as heck. So they're in North Carolina there, and they just showed up just coincidentally with West Virginia gear on.
You know, props to them for representing in hostile territory.
Sure.
Very much so.
Yeah,
Good job, boys.
Texter, hello, three guys. In spite of the raindrops and Rev Kev running out of brisket when I arrived to your tailgate for the very first time, I still enjoyed and pulled pork sandwich, loved the lemonade, and, of course, the Connection 304. I chatted up the world-famous Jennings Starcher and dapped with Brad It was all very good atmosphere in spite of the weather, in spite of the result. Rev Kev run out of brisket?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think he was maybe anticipating that the crowd would be down because of the weather.
Sold a bunch of pans, too. I mean, the pans went out.
Yeah, the pans went out.
But by the way, thank you to everybody that showed up because it was raining almost right from the very beginning. So we saw a bunch of people come through, so thank you.
You know what we had there? And Tony, you couldn't come because you had the Hall of Fame, which we'd like to hear about from you. But it was just, a few people. I mean, not a few, more than a few. People were in and out. We had a nice visit, standing under the tents as the rain came down. Enjoyed it. It was fun.
Rob from Benwood, 3 guys tailgate before the game. Biscuit, brisket, and Connection 304. Great stuff. I believe you had your did you have your picture with this guy?
I think I had my picture made with him.
There he
is. Very nice.
Very nice. So that guy was loaded up there, and you guys, that's before the rain.
By the way, I took a texter's suggestion from last game, or maybe it was Thursday. I went brisket
Horseradish?
with egg and put the horseradish on there.
Oh, boy.
That was nice. So thanks. I can't remember who made that suggestion in the text, but thank you because
horseradish
I went right in on it.
That horseradish is stupid good.
It was good.
Does he make his own?
Yeah, I believe he does. I think, yeah. This was pretty wild. You guys weren't there Friday when I was over at the food court. This is Nehemiah from St. Albans. He's a freshman at West Virginia. It was nice to meet you again at the food court Friday. We had a great conversation. Also, did we find our quarterback? So take a look at this. I took my picture with Nehemiah, and he was with 2 other buddies, 3 kids, all of them freshmen at West Virginia from St. Albans. And they said, can I get my picture taken with you? I said, sure. And then I said, he said, I had my picture taken with you when I was 8 years old.
What?
At the Charleston Civic Center. And do we have that picture? Braden? Don't have that picture? So anyway, he showed me a picture of myself and him and Jay Jacobs before a Mountaineer basketball game down in Charleston.
Really?
And what stunned me was that I had a beard.
What?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
It was weird as heck because it was a January game, and I thought the only time I'd ever grown a beard was like November when you do the thing.
That No Shave November
No
we
Shave
did for
November.
1 year.
Yeah. Now you kept yours from that
I just
November.
kept mine. I said I'll just keep it.
I don't remember you having a beard.
Yeah. Anyway. 3 guys, Steve and Kim, Raleigh, North Carolina, were in town this weekend, had the fortune and great timing. Met Brad at Daniels, met Hoppy at the food court, ran into Coach Wallace at our hotel.
Wow.
We only missed Tony this time and have yet to meet him. I know Tony is out amongst the public often, but for us, he's like trying to find the Mothman or Sasquatch in the West Virginia hills.
Hey, we have...
I can't say enough how much we've enjoyed talking to everyone, and they have interest in my journey from Gary, West Virginia to where I am today. By the way, we dropped off a bag of North Carolina goodies to Hoppy, so we hope you guys all enjoy. Keep up the great work.
Yes, bags right there. Steve from the Free State of McDowell County. Wow. Yeah.
That's heavy.
So I did, in fact, Brad, bring that in today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mackey's Ferry Peanuts Chocolate.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Chapel Hill Toffee. Dewey's Bakery Pumpkin Spice Cookies.
Hey, Braden, see if you can find the picture of Steve and Kim Smith.
I've heard of this stuff.
They just had it up.
Oh, they had it up? I'm sorry.
There's
There
that.
it is. There.
So I saw them in Daniels on Friday, I believe. Or was it Saturday? When did I see? I saw them in Daniels.
Oh, you
and
did?
talked to them, yeah. They were in there buying.
There's a bunch of pictures of you. You're in Daniels there with them.
Yeah, Steve was getting his stuff.
So what's the story on this?
People love that.
What is
it?
People love
it.
It's soda.
Oh, just pop?
Soda, yeah.
What's it called?
Cheer wine.
Cheer wine.
People like that?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We had a great visit with them.
Yeah, they were really nice to talk to. Steve had nice purchases there from Fine Looking Phil. Had all the throwback gear out there. Steve was loading up.
Yeah. 3 guys. Really, there's no sense for me to seek any healing after Utah. There's nothing to say that probably hasn't been said. Still keeping the faith as I conclude my Midwestern swing. The Kansas game last Saturday, brutal in person, but I was able to belt out country roads with our boy Charles Wesley Godwin in Kansas City on the following Saturday night. A fine representative of our state and of the college. There's a picture there of Charles in concert in Kansas City. I want to give this shout out to Charles. He dropped a new album Friday live in Pittsburgh, live in the Steel City. And by the way, that was the music there that they played at the food court on Friday night when I was over there. They had Charles fired up.
Did you see they announced the lineup for Stagecoach, which I think is out in California in April? A big-time lineup, just day after day of concerts. And the day that Charles is in, he's in there with Lainey Wilson and Riley Green, or a couple of the other performers on the day that he is going.
So Riley
Green, big-time
Green,
concert.
That's Rich's boy from down Jacksonville State. I think he's a big fan.
Oh, is he a big Riley Green guy?
Yeah. He used to hang out there with those guys.
He's kind of blowing up too.
Yeah,
he and Charles blowing up. So that's a good set. Lainey Wilson, Riley Green, Charles Wesley,
yes,
among others.
So if you're
big music guy,
if you'd like to listen to Charles's latest album, by all means, you can download it wherever you get your music. But it's a live album, and it sounded really, really good. Tudor's Biscuit World's one of our sponsors. Robert Griffin III. He won a Heisman Trophy.
He was all over this.
He won a Heisman, right?
He did.
So it was funny. I go into the booth yesterday.
Because he did color on the
Yeah, he did.
on the
I went
TV.
into the TV booth.
The TV.
And I talked to my boy Jason Benetti.
Friend of this program.
Yeah, he is.
He's been on.
And he's the best. Love him. And he said, hey, we got two more Syracuse guys here. My spotter's a Syracuse guy. My stats guy's a Syracuse guy. Stat guy, Syracuse guy, but also Zach Spiker's SID over there at Drexel.
Sure.
Really?
Sure. The Dragons. Anyway, so Robert walks in while we're kibitzing there. And I said, where'd you end up eating? And Jason says to me, you guys know each other? And I said, no. I said, there's this thing called social media. And he put it out there. He wanted to know where to go. He said, I went to Tudor's, and he got 2 biscuits.
RG?
Did you ask him if he ate both?
Well, here's the part of that. I said, he goes, one of them is right here. Had it in the booth with him at that time, middle of the afternoon. He said, I ate one. He said, that's the biggest biscuit I've ever seen in my life. I said, could you eat 2?
Thank you.
He said, if my life depended on it, yes, but that's the biggest biscuit in the world. I ate 1, but he had it there. I don't know if he took it down during the game, was that a halftime snack, post-game, driving back up to the airport.
So he went 1, saved the other one for later.
So Tudor's Biscuit World served RG3 this weekend, and they're willing to serve you as well. If you're into the biscuit mood, stop by. Why wouldn't you? I saw Lori and George, by the way. They came through the tail.
They did. I missed them.
They
I
came
didn't
through
see
the
them.
food court
Were they
on
Friday?
Friday
Yeah, I
night.
missed
Didn't get a chance. I wanted to talk to them. They quickly dissipated. But anyway.
Well, I see if RG3 wanted to franchise, because those are available.
They are. With over 70 franchises, Tudor's Biscuit World is continuing to seek franchisees. If you'd like to own a Tudor's Biscuit World, now is the time. Visit them. Unbelievable food. Those 3 new sauces. That honey sriracha,
Carolina Gold,
and sweet teriyaki, along with the sweet Ray's, which is the original. Of course, you knew that. And check it out. Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade
It was
way.
a no-brainer for RG3. You've read the comments under his when he asked where he should go. It was like 4 out of 5 comments were Tudor's. So he really had to go there.
Yeah.
Overwhelming choice from the commenters.
Good suggestion.
He went to Kegler's for his dinner Friday night. So, I mean, he got the full.
No, he got the full experience.
Yeah.
One more food court shout out. You would have liked this. Came over and said hello, introduced himself. Garrett Ford Jr. in attendance.
Really?
I saw
He
him
was
at
getting some barbecue at Rev Kev's and popped
Really?
over to say hello. It was great to see him and catch up a little bit.
So I saw him at the Hall of Fame. I thought the Hall of Fame was fantastic. And
Great class.
great class. I mean, Chelsea Carrier Eads, 8-time All-American from Upshur County, now lives in Bridgeport. I mean, her accomplishments are just breathtaking. And she had her 4 little girls there. And just fantastic. Petra Zublasin, 3-time national champion rifle member. She's from Italy. So I talked to her. She's from up in the northern part of Italy. I said, well, are you there now? She said, no, I'm in Paris coaching.
Did you talk to her mom? Did you
did
break out some
not.
of your Italian?
I did. I saw
I guess
her.
that was the first time she'd been in the United States?
First time in the United States.
Yeah.
So her story was great. She said, I come from a very small village. When I left, there were all kinds of tears in my family. I'm just going to a new world. And I come here and I make a whole new family, and it changed my life. And Daryl Whitmore was fantastic. His speech was fantastic.
What's he doing now?
He's in Indiana. Come to find out, he lives one exit away from Dwight Wallace.
Heard that on your program yesterday.
Yeah, he popped in the booth, but he was tremendous. What it meant for him to be here. And he mentioned Garrett Ford Sr.
Mm-hmm.
Said, like a father figure changed my life.
Right.
So his speech was great. Then you had Blaine and Karen Stewart speaking on behalf of the late Bill Stewart. That was awesome.
Was Blaine there?
Blaine videoed.
Videoed?
Yeah.
You had Pat McAfee. His was off. You got to go find it.
I'm sure it was off the
He
charts.
did it on set at game day at Penn State. Did it that morning.
Yeah.
And had the entire Penn State group student body that was there at game day sing Country Roads. It was awesome.
That's quite an
Only
accomplishment.
Pat could have thought that
and
one
he
out.
just nails it, right? Just went on one of his riffs and just
but
nailed
it was great.
It was excellent.
And then Bill Kurlavich. And he was incredibly grateful to be going into the Hall of Fame. And I received 3 texts Saturday morning before the event of guys that played for Kurlav, guys that were former Mountaineer football players who said he changed their life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I run into Chris Parker,
Yeah.
number 94, both Chris and his brother Scott. Scott was an offensive lineman, and Chris. And Chris told me, and I didn't know this, his dad died when he was a junior in high school. He said, Kurlav became my father. And he said, everything I do, like all my life lessons were because of him. And he goes, this big environment thing, this crowd here, this is not my thing. So I went to his house yesterday. And he said, I hadn't seen him since the mid-1990s. I start walking up the driveway. And Maggie, Bill's wife, was there. And he gets up to Kurlav, and Kurlav's just looking at him, doesn't recognize immediately.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, and Chris is going like, you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? And he said, I spent like 3 hours with him. He said it was just awesome. Just a fantastic class.
I called Kurlav Friday and just said, I won't keep you. I know you're busy with a lot of stuff. I just want to congratulate you. Very appropriate. Hey, thanks, Hop. It's great. But he is, I'm not sure how well he would fit in today's environment.
He could still do it.
I mean, but he was such a good coach.
Yep.
B, developed guys, right?
Yep.
Developed guys. And C, the longevity
Unbelievable.
was fantastic. I mean, he was such an integral part of that Neyland era of building the West Virginia football program, and just a great character.
That's what I was going to say, is the character, because we all just did. Every time you say Kurlav, what do you do? You start laughing.
Yeah.
Right? Because of just all the stories and the voice and the demeanor and the whole thing. Just
the hat on backwards.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is why he could still coach today. Because he could still coach today because his kids respected him.
Well, yeah.
Because they know and they knew that he cared.
Yes.
Did he have a rough, gruff demeanor? Yes. And was he super loud? Yes. But you know what, man? Like, they responded to that. He wasn't maliciously negative toward them. Just there's a fine line between being an asshole and being someone that gets attention and demands discipline. And these guys just like gravitated to him. Charlie Fedorko texted me and said when his dad got sick, like Kurlav constantly checked in with him. Fedorko said he took him on his recruiting visit at the Hotel Morgan, and he had never had a steak. And he looked at the menu. He said, everything I saw on the menu, I didn't even recognize. And he said, like, do they have, like, I forget what Charlie said, like hot dog or something. He goes, what are you talking about? He said, get the kid a filet. And the lady said, how do you want it cooked? And he said, and he just looked at Kurlav. He goes, he wants it medium rare. Like, that's Kurlav to a T, right? That's Kurlav to a T.
That's great.
And I think, yes, he could coach today. He absolutely could coach today. We need more guys like him that hold people and force people to do the right thing and change them.
Yeah, my point was that the whole thing with players getting paid and with the transfer portal and all that, I think he would have, and he and I talked about that a little bit yesterday. I think he would have struggled with that. But in terms of the actual X and O and coaching and what you do in practice, he loved, You know what? I asked him, I said, what do you miss? I miss the practices.
Yeah, because
I love the practices. The game, I was always too tight.
Yeah,
because
he used
I
to
had
get sick to his stomach, yeah.
But he loved to coach.
Yeah, well, that's football, man. Football's a training sport. You only play 12, right? Or you play a few extra maybe. But it's a training sport. You train it 95% of the time. You play it 5% of the time. That's why those coaches love practice. Yeah. But one thing he said, I give great respect to the late Frank Signetti. He said he hired me from his deathbed. Gave a ton of props. Gave it to Rick Trickett, to open the door to get him in here. To Don Nealon, to Rich Rodriguez.
Stu.
Yeah, Stu. I mean, he just piece by piece by piece by piece.
Steve Dunlap.
He laid all those guys. Just fantastic. Yeah. And then last but not least, it was great. He had his speech was like typed, regular computer printed. Mm-hmm. Then at the bottom of the last page was like your legal pad over there was handwritten. And he said, and this page I stuck in myself. He said, my daughter helped me print this. He said, but I wrote this because I knew if my wife knew it was in here, she wouldn't let me read it. And it was to his wife.
Oh.
So she ran the whole show. So yeah, it was great.
That was Tony for you. Well, for West Virginia fans, for those athletes, and for Mountaineer Nation, that was a real bright spot and great memories on an otherwise dreary day.
Yeah, absolutely. There will be brighter days. There will be brighter days. We'll get the thing. It'll get fixed. It'll get fixed. It will. It will. All right. We're out. So this week, because we fly on Thursday, we need to record on Wednesday.
Okay. I'll be here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wednesday is also National Coffee Day.
Excuse me?
National Coffee Day.
What now?
October 1.
Really?
We may be over at Mountaineer Roasting, serving a little coffee.
You think Rusty might give us like a bag or something?
I don't know if he'll give us anything, but we'll be over there helping. We might work that morning, so clear your schedule. You and I are going over.
All right, fine. I'll be there. I'll do that. All right, we'll be back. Preview West Virginia and BYU.
Can I come?
Well, if you want. I just assumed you would be doing other things.
Yeah, you're busy now that you're retired. Three Guys brought to us by GoMart. Get a GoMart rewards card. Download the app. Save on food and fuel immediately. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way with a Tudor's biscuit. By Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe, secure, efficient for 25 years. By Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law, they won't take no for an answer. Jan Dill's Attorneys at Law. And by the Conley CPA Group, they provide us with spreads on stats. Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. All right, thanks very much for being with us. Hang in there. We'll be back to preview the BYU, our Utah series continues. The two Utah schools back to back. Have yourself a good day. Three Guys before the game. Over and out.